funky.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to actually get into the actual steps that I took to conceive. So I mean all the tracking, the tools. I have my tools next to me. I have every product that I use next to me. And so when I get to that stage, I will bring it on camera. I will show you how to do it. Well, for those that are attempting at-home inseminations, I will show you how I did it with the actual tools and some props, because we don't have a real sample. And if you're interested in figuring out how I did this, keep watching. So, before I get started, there are going to be some adult terms in this video. So, if you are easily disgusted by body fluids and discussion about body fluids, go ahead and stop watching now because we're about to get into some real stuff in this video. So, let's just start off with the basic level of this process. I remember telling you in my last video, the most important thing to do is track. You have to track your period. You have to track your body. How do you do that? So, I have apps and I will put screenshots down below or videos of the actual apps to show you what I use. But I will name some of the apps that I use. So I used Period. My Calendar is called My Calendar in the App Store for Android and iOS. I use Premom, I use Fertility Friend, and I use Glow. Now, was it necessary to use all those apps? No, but I used a lot of them to see if they all sync together. I put my information in all my apps to see if they lined up together and the information matched. So all of these apps are free. Premom is free, My Calendar is free, Fertility Friend is free, Glow is free, and there's one more, Femometer. It's not that good in my opinion. You can try it out. It's free. Ovia, free. All of these apps. So find the app that works for you, or you can be a crazy person like me and use them all. Because I used about 5 or 6 apps at one time, putting my information in all of them, and I will show you the main ones that I use. While I'm talking about this tracking process, you'll see different videos pop up to show you how that looks. And so Fertility Friend was my favorite. It is free, but I did pay the $24.99 to get the premium version because I will explain to you how that app has a couple more steps that helped. So tracking, knowing your period, knowing how long your cycle is, knowing if you have a 28-day cycle, 29-day, 30 days. Some of us have 35 days, some of us only have 21 days. It varies, and that part wasn't hard for me because I've been tracking my period for the last 10, 11 years just because you want to know when it's coming. Period, point blank, no accidents. So that part wasn't hard for me to get used to tracking because I was already doing that. But tracking for the purpose of conceiving was a little bit different because it was more than just looking at the app. Some people think looking at the apps, and the app will give you a predicted date on when you're supposed to ovulate. So let's do a little anatomy and physiology lesson real quick. So generally they say that a woman has a 28-day cycle. So your whole entire period cycle is 28 days long, and you may actually have bleeding anywhere from 3 to 8 of those days. Then you have what's called a luteal phase. That's when your body is getting ready for ovulation. Your ovaries are producing the eggs, getting ready to release. Then you have those 2 days of ovulation. Then you have the rest of your period where your body is deciding if it's pregnant or not, and if it should be building up your uterine lining to prepare for another period. So they say, based on the books, women are supposed to have 28-day cycles. Well, we know based on weight, race, ethnicity, all of that stuff, these changes, your health, habits, Are you active? Are you an athlete? Whatever. That may change. So me personally, I do not have a 28-day cycle. I had more of a 32, 33-day cycle. Very short period, only 3 to 4 days, but my whole entire cycle spanned for 32 days. We'll say that. So if you look at the app is going to tell you that 14 days after your period is when you ovulate, generally. But if you go by the app and the app only, you will miss it. The app is a prediction. But the stuff that you put in the app, your symptoms, how your body changed during your period, do you have sore nips? Do you have cramps? Do you have headaches? Do you have a lot of discharge, which is called cervical mucus? We're about to get into that because that's part of tracking. These different aspects and symptoms that you put in the app is what determines how it comes up with the actual date that you ovulate. So, tracking your period. Also, ovulation strips and ovulation tests. I don't have the clear blue test because I think I threw that out, but the main one I used were these strips right here. They were called Easy at Home strips. Easy at Home. You can get a box of 100 from Amazon for $10. They will come with 100 of these and 20 pregnancy tests, which is in the pink paper with the strips. And I got some water here. I'll show you how these work. And so when you are, I want to say, okay, so let's say my period started. I had a period for 3-4 days. That's me. Base it on yours. Kind of change it up for you. After my period ended, I would wait maybe 4 or 5 days. So we call those cycle days. So my cycle starts on cycle day 1, cycle day 2, 3, 4. When it gets to cycle day 5 and it's over, I wait till about cycle day 10, 5 days later, and then I start using these. And so this is how you use these. You use them between, you do not test in the morning with these. You use these between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Find a time that works for your schedule. I would wake up and I would use this around 11 or 12. Then I would do it again at 4. Then I would do it again at bedtime. That's why you need a whole box of these because you're going to go through a lot of them. So you open it up. I'm going to show you what this looks like because I don't need these at the moment. You open it up and it comes with a strip that looks like this. Let me turn it around so you could actually see what it says. And so you see over here it says the word max and it has a line. So this means when you dip it in your urine, you only dip it up to that line and you hold it there for about 5 seconds. So I'm going to show you. You get these little cups. So I got these cups from the Dollar Tree for $1. You can use any of these type of paper cups, styrofoam cups, whatever. Go to the dollar store, find you some cups. You're going to need a lot of them. You may find one and just be one of those people that wash it out. That's fine too, because once you rinse it out, it's clean. But this had a pack of like 40 of them, so I got like 2 packs of these. And so collect your urine in a cup, like that first urine that you, not the first one, but like I say around 11 or 12. You take it, you dip this stick, this ovulation stick, all the way up into the line. And so we would do that, and we would let it sit for 3 to 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I do that, as you can see now, I'll put my hand there. You see that little pink spot appearing? Right. It rises up and it covers that white spot. And so if you see it, it's getting more and more and more and more. So as you do that, you lay it flat on the counter, on a napkin, on a tissue. You lay it flat and you wait for 5 minutes. So you can set a timer. The Premom app and the Femmemeter app, they have timers. If you want to like use your phone or use the app, you set the timer for 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. I didn't use my actual urine, so I will have to explain what you should see. But you use that. So I would use these Easy at Home strips from cycle day 10 all the way up until I ovulated. Now, I didn't use just this. Some people only use these. I use the Clear Blue digital test, and I wish I had one, but I don't. But there's 3 different Clear Blue digitals. Well, Clear Blue tests. One is just a regular Clear Blue ovulation test like this. It'll show the same lines like this. The other one has a pink handle. It's a digital. That's the one I use. It comes with the little ovulation sticks, and you stick it in the you stick the cartridge in the ovulation test. It will blink. You would stick it in your sample for 5 seconds. You would take it out, put the cap on, sit it flat, and then it would blink with a little testing symbol. And then when it's done, it gives you either a empty circle, which means you're not ovulating or you're not close to ovulating, like you're not at your peak or your high days, or it would give you a smiley face, a solid smiley face. When it gives you a solid smiley face, that means the body has detected what we call the LH hormone, the luteinizing hormone, in your body is high, which means you are going to ovulate within the next 24 to 48 hours. Ovulation is quick. It's quick and it's different for every person. And I'll explain that how it worked for me because I was tracking wrong and I had to figure out how to do it right. So, excuse me. So, let's look at this stick. So, I don't think y'all are going to be able to see it, but let me see. All right, so y'all see a line. You should see a line appearing right there. So that line that appeared, that's the test line. So that line is always going to show when you take this test. Now, next to it, I'm trying to make sure I can line it up. Yeah, next to it where my fingernail is, you would get another line that's based on your body. Now, if the line is lighter than the test line, that means you're not close to ovulating or the LH hormone is not high in your body. You want that second line to be dark as or darker than the test line, and well, the control line. And I will put some pictures down here of what mine looked like. So it'll be easier to understand what I'm saying about the lines. But I would use both of those. Then you have another Clear Blue Digital with the purple handle. I personally don't recommend it because I tried it. It gives you either an empty circle to say you're not about to ovulate, you're not about to ovulate, you don't have a high hormone, or it gives you a blinking smiley face, which means the hormone has been detected and is high enough to detect, or it gives you a solid smiley face that says, go now. Didn't work for me. I used that one on my second cycle, and I never got the flashing face or the solid face. So I just use the pink one. It's very simple. Empty circle or smiley face. I use it in combination with the strips because when my line on the strip is dark, I get a smiley face on the clear blue. They match up. There's no confusion there. Also, I took these while I was tracking. Let me turn it. I took maca root or maca root, however you pronounce it. I'm going to say maca because that's how I've been saying. But I've been taking these, and these are all veggie/vegan. So for those that are vegetarians and vegans, you can take these. I took these twice a day. You take 2 of these twice a day. It's a natural supplement that helps with your reproductive health and your fertility, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Just little brown capsules. They have a weird smell, but not to me. I kind of like the smell, but I took these 2 times a day. I took those 2 times a day, and even before I got pregnant, I was taking prenatals once a day. So you can take whatever brand you research that works for you. I actually like the Nature Made ones because they have the DHA that you need for helping the baby's skull and brain development. So instead of you having to take another separate DHA pill and a prenatal, this has both of them in one. Has the folic acid, everything you need. So I took both of those in combination with tracking. So back to the tracking. I would track cycle day 10 all the way until I actually got mine positive. Then I would inseminate, which we're going to get to. Now, how was I able to tell that I was actually getting close? So this is something that I learned on my second cycle and my third cycle. So there's something called cervical mucus. We all have it. We all know what it is, but we just don't call it that. That's the discharge that women have. Like when you wipe or you change or you take a shower, you see that little strip in your underwear. That's cervical mucus. Your body has more of it when you're about to ovulate. And so how do you check that? You can check that with your fingers, or you can check that with a tissue. So let's say you use your fingers. I use my fingers as often, didn't have to. You would just put your finger up there. You know what up there means. Take it out and stretch it. Now, if you do like this with your fingers and it's wet, that means you're close to ovulation. If you can do like this and it stretches between your fingers like it looks like clear glue. If it looks like clear stretchy glue, that means you're about to ovulate. If it's just watery and clear, you're almost there. If it's just sticky, like just a little sticky, and it's thick and white, that means you're still in that luteal phase. You're not close. And then if you have none, of course, if it's dry, then you have none. Now, I will address that some people do have problems with cervical mucus. They may not have that much discharge, things like that. So to take that in consideration, there's things you could take that may promote that. The maca root may help you. You could take something called primrose oil. That's a vitamin that I've heard that helps. There's different things, and I will list those resources in the description. But let's say you do have it, and I'm going to use this water as an example. So let's say you checked it or you wiped on the tissue and you did like this, and you see how that's not really sticky. It's just dripping. It's just wet. That means I would be close. But if I could do like this and it stretches between my fingers like egg whites, that's what it is. Looks like egg whites. So when you crack an egg, the egg white part, how it looks clear and it can stretch like that, that means you're close. So I did a lot of things. I tracked with the ovulation strips. I tracked the cervical mucus, like you wipe on a tissue and you just touch it. I mean, it's your body. Don't be grossed out. Touch it, see what it does, put it in the app so the app can tell you you're close. I tracked my basal body temperature, my BBT. Let's get into that. So you cannot use a regular thermometer to test basal body temperature. So this is just a CVS branded thermometer. It's an actual body basal temperature thermometer. You can look it up on their website. This was about $10, $12, but it's made for that because it gives you the temperature all the way up into the decimal point. So how do you track this? You pick a time that's good for you when you know when you wake up. So my work schedule, I'm a teacher. I get up every day at 6 a.m. So I knew that I get up consistently at 6 a.m. every day. So I kept this on the nightstand. You can test this two different ways. You can do this orally, put it under your tongue. Some people do it vaginally. They put it in the inside. I didn't want to do that. I did it orally. So I kept this on the nightstand. You go to sleep. As soon as you wake up at 6, as soon as my alarm will go off, don't move. Don't get out of bed. Don't go use the bathroom, brush your teeth. No. As soon as you open your eyes, grab the thermometer, put it under your tongue. Your body basal temperature is the temperature of your body before you even move. So I would do that. It would beep. I would look at it. I would get the temperature and I would put it in my app. And I would do that every morning so the app kept track of them. Why? Because a woman's body, her body basal temperature changes when she's about to ovulate. It goes the day before you ovulate, the temperature drops lower than your normal, and it goes up the next day when you're about to ovulate. When your ovary is releasing that egg, the temperature goes up. And so my normal temperature, I would say, was always about 98.20 or 97. But the day before I would ovulate, it would go all the way down to about 96 or 97. So on my graph, you would see a dip, and then you would see it go all the way back up to the 99s on the day that I was going to ovulate. And so the first cycle, I didn't really pay attention to it as much, but the second cycle, I noticed a trend. In the third cycle where I was successful, I definitely noticed a trend. I saw the drop, and I saw it go up, so I knew. So ovulation test, temperature, cervical mucus, using the apps. And I've showed you the apps along the way by now. I know when I edit it, I'm going to put these apps in here to show you now what you're looking at. And I might just cut the video and put a portion of the app just to show you what you're looking at. So I did all of that before you even get to the actual action. You need to know what your body is doing and when, because for those that are going to be purchasing sperm, you will waste a lot of money if you do not know what your body is doing. If you don't know how to track, you will waste a lot of money. Sperm is not cheap. Sperm donation, we'll just say donation, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So you do not want to be out there wasting money because you haven't learned your body. Now, I told y'all that I was tracking wrong. So in all of my Facebook groups I joined, I was told that when you get the peak or when you get the highest, darkest line, that's when you should inseminate. That's when you should inseminate, that it was sometime between 24 to 48 hours after that. Wrong. I learned on my third cycle, based on the second cycle that I failed, that the first positive you get, not the peak, not the darkest line, but the very first positive you got, that very first smiley face I got, is go time right then. Because literally, depending on your body, and we don't know because you can't see in there to know if the egg has dropped, when it's going to drop. When you get that first positive test, your egg can literally drop anywhere from 24 to 48 hours from that point. So I was actually waiting too late. I was waiting 24 hours after the first test to get that darkest line and probably was missing my egg already. I'm one of them people that I think that it drops and it was done and I was just wasting time. So don't take your chances waiting for the peak, the 24 hours after, or you will miss it. Unless, there is an unless you are using a frozen donation. If you are getting your donation from a cryobank, you definitely wait the 24 hours after that, because a frozen donation only lasts 24 hours, which means the actual sperm does not, fresh sperm can stay in your body from 3 to 5 days. So that means even if you didn't ovulate when you did it, something's waiting when the egg dropped and you could still get pregnant. If you're using the frozen donation, it only lasts 24 hours. It means you want it to be there when the actual egg drops. You get what I'm saying? So if you do it too early, you might miss it. So that's the difference. But I was using fresh, so that didn't apply to me, which means when I got that first high test, it was go time. Now, what did I do? What is the actual steps? Let's get into that. So I have all these tools over here that I'm going to bring on the camera. I'm going to show you. Now, I had help. If you're doing it by yourself, this tool I'm about to show you is unnecessary, but I had help. Speculum. Women, we know what this is. When you go to the OB/GYN or GYN and you get your pap smear, your examination, they use a speculum, whether it's metal or plastic. More commonly these days are plastic. So I have a plastic speculum. I had help. That's the only reason why I use this. If you don't have help, skip this step. So this is a speculum. We know how this goes. You put this, you have someone put it in there, put it inside your, trying to be clean, but you put it inside your area, and then they would literally click and open this up so that they can see your cervix. This part right here would sit directly on the cervix, like it would land right on the cervix and hold it up so that you would know where you're inseminated. And this one actually has a light. So this light points directly where it needs to be. And I'm going to cut that off. But it has a light. And so if you have help, and this is not just for LGBT members, this is for heterosexual couples too. If you have your boyfriend, husband, spouse, whoever helping you, you can use this. It lines it up literally on your cervix where you need to go, where the donation needs to go. So I use this to literally lay my cervix right up there so that we would know where we were going. So that's a step for me and anyone else that has help. If you do not have help, skip that. So, speculum, if you have help. I know I didn't talk much about the cervix. If you don't know what your cervix looks like, or you've never felt your cervix, Google it. It looks like a little pink donut. Literally a donut like this. And if you're someone that has help and you have a speculum, that's another way I was able to track. I was able to look at my cervix throughout the steps to know. And when your cervix is, so it's usually like this. So when it's flat like that, then you're not close to ovulating. But the closer you get to ovulation, it opens and opens and opens and opens until you see that little donut and you have a little hole right there. That means it's open and it can accept a donation. If not, it's just going to be sitting on the outside. So put the speculum in. My cervix was sitting up there like this. Now, the first 2 cycles, I just used a regular syringe. Let me zoom in so you can see that. It's a regular 1 milliliter syringe. I got a pack of 10 from Amazon for about $6, $7, 10 at most. But I'll take it out because I'm not going to use this. But it looks like this. When you first get it, you prime it. So you see how stiff that was? You want to prime it a few times. Make it easier to work with. And so if you were using your sample, and I'm just going to use water because I'm going to use the actual other prop I have for the actual tool. You would take it, you would slowly, don't do it too fast. You want to make sure no air is in here. No air is trapped in here. That's the reason why I primed it as well. You want to tilt it and slowly put your donation in. Don't do it too fast. It has to be really slow so that you don't break any of your donation. Once you get it in there, depends on how much your sample is. I might have put too much here based on what people would have, but you would have it in there. You would make sure there's no air bubbles in it. I got water flying everywhere. You would make sure there's no air bubbles in it. So I've done this a few times and the air bubbles are gone. And then you would just, you would put this up the canal, but these syringes do not touch your cervix. You do not want to go in cervical shock. You do not want to get an infection. You do not want to do any of that. So these syringes here do not touch your cervix. If this is your cervix, you can get close to it, and then you can let your donation go. But do not touch it. Do not stick it in there. Don't do any of that. Just get close enough and let it go, and then slowly take it out. But I used that the first 2 times, and I was unsuccessful. I also used the first 2 times, and for those that I went back and said that you may not have cervical mucus, they have something that helps. It's called Pre-Seed. So it says for use when trying to get pregnant. So Pre-Seed is a fertility-friendly lubricant. So it's only used for that. So for those, my heterosexual couples that are having natural intercourse, this can be used as the lube. For those that are just doing insemination, I'm going to explain how to use this either way. So you don't just put it in there and go about your business. This has specific instructions. You have to put this in 15 minutes before sex or 15 minutes before you're going to inseminate. It comes with applicators. I don't have any more, but it comes with applicators so that you would take off the cap. You would attach the applicator on here, like twist it on. It twists on, and it almost looks like a syringe. So I'll use the syringe. Whoop, I dropped it. I'll use the syringe if I didn't drop it. Let me see if I can get it. You use a syringe, put it on top of it, screw it on. You would slowly pull up how much you need, 1 to 2 milliliters. I think the 3 was too much. Then you would close this back. And then before you had sex or before you inseminated, 15 minutes before, you would enter the Pre-Seed in there instead. Let it sit for 15 minutes because it needs to be body temperature. If it's not body temperature, it will kill your donation. So that's why it says 15 minutes before. It gets used to your body temp inside of you. Then you have sex or then you do your insemination. Now, personally for me, I didn't have problems with CM. So I think that was ruining my chances. But if you watch a lot of YouTube couples, this worked. This was highly recommended. This is about $20 at a CVS, a Target, Amazon. It's expensive, so you make the choice if you want to spend the money. I will put the link below. Didn't work for me, could work for somebody else out there. So I use that and a syringe, and I also use a soft cup, which I don't have in front of me, so I'm just going to put a picture down below. I wish I had it. I'm going to stop this video and come back. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So I had to stop that video because I feel like I wasn't doing y'all justice if I didn't show you what a soft cup is, because I promised I would show you last time. So this is a soft cup. I told you it's called a menstrual cup. So it looks like this. And so there's two sides to it. As you see, this side drops properly. Now, if you do it this way, you see it strains to go down. So make sure you're putting it the proper way. So I use that syringe, that pre-seed, and then I put this soft cup up against my cervix. How do you put this in there? This is used for menstrual cycles as well. So you would take the cup, squeeze it closed like this, and insert it just like a tampon. You would put it, but instead of a tampon goes up, this one you go straight back like this. So if this was, I wish I had a bottle to show you, but if this was your opening, you would stick it in straight back like that. And as you're sticking it in, it's slowly opening up. See that? Slowly opening up. And then as you have it all the way in, it would have opened up. It would have naturally opened up like this. And so if this was your cervix, this hugs your cervix just like this and keeps everything in. Now, some people don't feel comfortable using a syringe, so they would just put their donation in here, put it in, and leave this in. You can wear this for up to 12 hours. So you could put it in, go to sleep, walk around. It's not going anywhere. So I used that, and I failed my first 2 cycles. But the third cycle, I did something different. I used a different tool. I did that thing I told you. I inseminated when I got the first high, not the peak. So this go round, I used Mosey Baby. And I will put my video below of me unboxing it. So Mosey Baby is a home insemination kit that comes with 2 syringes and 2 donation cups. And that's lotion and water, guys, so don't get grossed out. I needed that to show you what I was doing. So what's the difference between this syringe and this one? Look at the shape. This one has a triangular top. It's more pointing. This one has a rounded top with a little nub. So this one is shaped more like a tampon. It's smoother. And this one, remember I told you could not put this syringe against your cervix. This one, you can. This little nub right here, it goes right against your cervix like this. You can literally put it against your cervix and then put your donation in. All of it will go in. You will have no mess. That's just my experience. If you have other experiences, put them below for those that are watching that have went through this process. But I loved using this. So this go round, I used the cup. So it comes with a cup, and these are in sterile sheets. So it would have came in one of these little packs so that you know it's sterile. So I opened it up when it was time. You have your sample. So if you're using frozen, you would have followed the instructions for frozen donations. You would have thawed it out, got it body temperature, got it liquid, and put it in here. Now, if you get a fresh donation like I did, it will be put in this cup. Of course, I didn't get it in my house, so I had to go home 7 minutes from where I got my donation. And so I put it up under my underarm. You can put it under your boobs. You can put it between your legs. Because when you need this, you need it to be liquid like this. So that's why I put lotion and water together so you can see it should look like this. So you're home, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're getting ready to do that. So now you have the sample, you have the Mosey Baby syringe, you lay it on the side like this. So you would tilt it so that the donation is all in one corner. You do this slowly, just like the other syringe. So you put it in there. You would slowly, get the air bubbles out. You would slowly draw it up. Slowly draw it up. Slowly draw it up. Now, depending on how much your sample is, you may have this much, you may not. I think I had about that much, so that's how much I put in here. But you have your donation. See, it's in there. Now, like I said before, this can go against your cervix. So let's pretend that this is your cervix. You can put it right against there. Put it right against there. And no, you don't just push the button and send the donation flying in there. You do it slowly. So this is a very slow, patient process. So you literally have to go, keep your hand steady, and slowly press it. See how that's going real slow? You keep going, keep going. until it's all in. Once it's in, you could let it sit for maybe 5 seconds. I think we let it sit for about 5 seconds. And then you slowly pull it out. That looks disgusting, guys, but you get the point. Slowly pull it out, and then you're done. Now, because Mosey Baby goes against the cervix, you don't have to worry about any of your specimen or your donation coming out. But, like, take an extra step. So, I did that, and I used a soft cup again. I put the soft cup in over my cervix after doing that, and I kept it in for about 7-8 hours. I went to sleep. It was late at night, like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I kept it in all night while I was asleep. Like I said, you can wear this up to 12 hours. I kept it in, and then when I woke up to use the bathroom around 6, 7 a.m., pulled it out, done, let it go. That's what I did. I tracked. That was the process. And then you have what's called the 2-week wait. So the 14 days after you've done this insemination process, or for my heterosexual couples, for those that had sex with their spouse, you have a 14-week waiting period, because during those 14 days, your body has to decide when the egg was dropped, was there something to meet it? If there was something to meet it, boom, they collided, sperm fertilized the egg drops down into your uterine wall. Now your body has to decide from this point, is it a viable egg? Am I going to hold on to it? Am I going to keep it? That's going on silently in your body for 10 to 14 days. We call this the 2-week wait, and you have 14 days past ovulation before you should be able to see something. Now, you can see something earlier. I was able to get a positive pregnancy test 10/11 days after doing this, days past ovulation. So it just depends on your body. Please don't be a crazy person like me who started peeing on sticks at 8, 9 days. But honestly, I can't tell you what to do, because when you're going through this process, it makes you crazy. It makes you pee on these sticks. You start seeing lines that ain't there until you actually see a line that's there, and then you freak out. I freaked out when I saw a line for real. So you have this 2-week wait, and you still use these apps, and I'll show you my app again, how I tracked everything. And you would just track what's going on with your body. Did you feel cramps? Do you have headaches? Do you have vivid dreams? Did your nipples hurt? Were you nauseous? Did you have indigestion? Whatever. The app has literally a list that you can choose from, symptoms that you don't even think exist. Some people symptom spot. I did that the first 2 times. I had all of these symptoms that made me think that I was pregnant, and I was not. The 3rd cycle, I had nothing. No symptoms at all. I had vivid dreams, and that's it. When I got to about 6, 7 days past ovulation, my temperature went up. So yes, you still track your temperature even after you have inseminated. So I kept that temperature going, because your temperature is supposed to rise to show that your body did in fact ovulate. That's how you have proof, when it spikes up and it stays up for the whole phase. And then when it gets to the end of your cycle, your temperature will either drop all the way back down, which means your period is coming, or it will stay high, which means you're pregnant. Now, is that true for everybody? No. There's a lot of women who said temperature didn't matter. Their temperature dropped, they were still pregnant. So, may not matter for you. It did work for me. My temperature did stay high. And then around, when I told you I had cramps, around 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, and 9 days past ovulation, my temperature did go down. And then when I hit 10 days past ovulation, it took a quick spike back up. And I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. So that's how I knew I was pregnant. Temperature and vivid dreams. I had no symptoms. Not to say that you won't have any. I had none. No symptoms at all. No sore nipples, no headaches, no nausea, no anything. But I knew I was pregnant because the lack of symptoms. This cycle, the 3rd cycle, felt different than any of the other cycles. And so, in my mind, I was like, this is it. But those are the tools I use, and I will quickly flash them across the screen again. I took my prenatal vitamins. I took these, all Amazon. I use soft cups. I'll put these links down below. Some people use Pre-Seed. I did try it. Didn't work for me, but give it a try for yourself. I did use a thermometer. I did use these easy at home strips. I'll put the link below. And I did use my favorite tool, Mosey Baby, and I'll put the link below. The Mosey Baby kit was about $80, $90 for the 2 syringes and the cups. I think it was worth it. Some people think that the price is too much, and so they stick with their syringes, soft cups, or whatever method. That's perfectly fine. But I saw a lot of videos, a lot of reviews, so I tried it. First time trying it without the pre-seed, and I was successful. It worked for me. So I will put the links to all of these products down below in case you want to click, price, read on it, read reviews. I will put this down below. But these are the steps that I've taken, and I know this video is super long, like 30, 40 minutes long, but this is not a quick process. This was not I just decided I wanted to get pregnant and I jumped in there and did it. I had to go through these steps to know my body completely in and out before even getting to where I am now. And for those that follow the page, they know that I am, what am I today? 22 weeks and 3 days pregnant. 22 weeks and 3 days pregnant. So I'm literally a few weeks away from being in my 3rd trimester. So it worked for me and it could work for you. You just have to really know your body. You have to really track. Now, these are the steps for at-home insemination. Now, if you're doing IUI, like I said in the last video, you would still track and work with your doctor. With IVF, that's a completely different process. That's a different set of medicines and different set of steps. But if you're doing an at-home insemination with frozen or fresh donation, you're doing it yourself or with your spouse, whether you are a hetero couple or homosexual couple, these will work. You can still use these apps, still use these products. A lot of straight or heterosexual couples still use Mosey Baby. If you're someone who's been trying with your husband or your spouse and it still wasn't working, there's reviews on the site of heterosexual couples who use this and it works. So do not let your pride get in the way because you have a husband, a boyfriend, or because you're with your wife and you do not want to use this. Still works for straight couples. All these steps are not exclusive to members of the LGBT community. This is all around the board. This is a process for women. If you are a woman with a cycle, these steps will work when it comes to tracking, knowing your body, taking these vitamins, getting yourself in shape. Now, another thing I did do, I'm not going to tell you what to do when it comes to this. This is something I did. I stopped drinking. There is no proven fact that alcohol decreases your chances, but I stopped drinking for myself. So no hard liquor. Yes, I did have wine here and there, those type of drinks, but no more tequila, Hennessy, dark liquor, vodka. I cut all of that out. So January 1st, when the new year came in and I took my last sip of alcohol, January to May, I didn't have anything but wine here and there. And now I'm pregnant, so I definitely haven't had any alcohol in this October. So that's a personal decision. You can make that decision. It's literally up to you. That's just something I did as an extra precaution. I stopped drinking. Stopped drinking alcohol, and I drank way more water. Improves my chances for me. Could work for you. Try it. Change your diet. Stop eating fried foods. Whatever you think, depending on your personal health or how in shape you feel, try that. Those are things I did. No alcohol. I cut down the fried foods. I ate more salads, more vegetables, more water. And I cut out the sweets. I walked more, exercised more. Bam, here we are. So make those personal decisions based on your health, your body, your lifestyle. Do not do it just because I told you to do it. That's just my personal choice. That's the method that I took. But these tools are exclusive to everybody. You can try a mixture of these tools. These soft cups are at CVS, Target, or Amazon. They come in a pack of 14. So even if you want to try these for your cycle, these are good too. I've used these. All of this stuff can be bought on Amazon. These supplements, these tools, everything. So I will put all the links below. If you made it this far, like you sat through all of this rumble and jumble about all of this information, that means you're serious about getting started. And I wish you all the luck. I will answer any questions. If you still have more questions after this, put them in the comments or go to my Instagram, which is linked below. Ask those questions. I will either address them in the comments or I will make another video addressing more questions. We can work this thing out until you have no more questions. But Until next time, make sure you subscribe, follow, and wait for more videos. Thanks for watching.